Do you guys ever see this? This is strange. It's like a clear lipstick. My friend Laura, my good friend who I met yesterday, she gave me this. And it's like gigantic. I don't even, but it makes its own color and strange, but it does. It's super cool. Anyway, I have my coffee, iced coffee. How are you guys? This is Art Say Wisdom. My name is Diane. Thank you for coming by. Mm. Got some questions from viewers. I also wanted to respond to my comments from Sunday Night Mysteries yesterday. I was supposed to do the religions, global religions of the world, past, present, future. Vast subject. And I think I wasn't doing it justice and it was taking me too long to edit. So I think I might even do that as a video by itself. It doesn't quite fit into mysteries, but I put it there. So we'll do that later. So hope to get to that soon. And the comments about Harry Houdini, who was really fascinating and no expectation. Sam Cooke, also interesting. And Jimmy Hoffa. Those two were not too different than I imagined them, but Harry Houdini was crazy, crazy different in images and like so much depth and spiritual energy around him. It's crazy. Anyway, so today I'm going to answer some questions people have asked. And then the UK, Peter Mendelsohn just got arrested. They picked him up and I think I'll probably be released on federal charges or UK charges, governmental, and like releasing information to Epstein. Somebody asked me about Trump and Gabbard. Are they Russian assets? And why can't the CIA or FBI warn voters regarding this and now not allow them to run for office? Isn't that the $64,000 question? Tariff money, are we going to see any of it? Nancy Guthrie, check in with her, the situation. And then Aileen Cannon permanently barred the release of Jack Smith's report for, Trump and his documents. Aileen Cannon, if you remember, she's this little happy bunny that he tells her what to do and she does it for him. Will it get released? I'm going to look into that. CUSMA, somebody asked, will it be renewed? And then I'm going to talk about Mark Carney and the EU and that connection and him traveling all over the world to make a new trade agreements with a lot of different countries. So he doesn't, or the Canada doesn't have to rely on the US as much, which is good. And then the Mexican cartel boss got killed. And so they are blowing up. The cartel is kind of doing crazy down there in is it Mazatlan or Puerto Vallarta? I'm not sure. I'll look it up. But a lot of Canadians, 26,000 Canadians are there. And it's scary for many of them. They burned down a Costco and burned down cars everywhere. And I'm going to look into the FIFA, the World Cup. I think it's supposed to be in Guadalajara. And I think that's where a bunch of this is happening as well. And I said Mark Carney and then Andrew's future. There's a lot of subjects there. So let's get started. Okay, well, thanks. First of all, I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers, my old subscribers, those of you who just always keep commenting and giving me atta girls and support and supporting each other, because I know some of you talk amongst yourselves and it's really good. And I'm here to help. I'm doing the best I can when I can to bring calm and a perspective that might bring an ease to some people. That's to me. I've just transferred to you guys. Anyway, so thank you. And if you guys like what you see here when I do this stuff, I'd love it if you subscribe. That would be awesome. If you're just visiting, I appreciate it. Today I'm using my Tarot of the Woodland Wardens by Jessica Rue. She's awesome. Her cards are very much like little Beatrix Potter cards. And I'm a sucker for little English mice and things. So anyway, okay. So I wanted this Trump and Gabbard are Russian assets. Somebody had asked me that, and I'm sorry, I don't remember. And why the CIA or the FBI are not telling voters, like warning us, they're assets. Because I think, well, first instinct is there's a corruption and there's a backroom agreement, unspoken agreement that says you can't give us away or else we'll get rid of you. And there's a lot of pressure on people to let things go the path that they will, take their own course and let them fall out when they may. People will find out that Tulsi Gabbard or President Trump, Donald Trump, is a Russian asset. He's not a Russian asset. He is, but in a different way. She is definitely a link to Russia. She's they asked her this in Congress when she was getting confirmed, and she said no, and that was old days and blah 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 blah. But definitely, and I've seen this before with her. I saw her definitely. It's a dark feeling I have with her. She definitely is a person, and this is for entertainment purposes only. This is all my musings, okay? I do feel like she is connected and she still is active. I feel like she's still active. Trump is more uh well, his brain is broken. He's got that frontal lobe, temporal lobe dementia, and his instinct is he's just his body's breaking down. So he just does things on like by rote, or his body muscle memory is happening. But he has this old situation, old ties to Russia, money borrowed, blackmailed for different things. So this is a little different. His is a long time. Hers is more present day, and it feels very dark, and it feels like very like spy stuff. I feel very spy stuff with her, and her being the sex. She's anyway. Why doesn't CIA or FBI tell us? Because they want it to take its course. They don't want to, you know, divert things and get in trouble. There's a brotherhood. We have to stick by each other. It's the Epstein kind of feeling. This is where we are, and this is where we're going to have to stay if we're going to protect each other. And once they do that, they sell their soul. It's hard to go back. Now, there are good people in the CIA and FBI. In fact, I've had some clients from the FBI, which is really cool. But uh, it's always, I think, hard to stick your neck out. And they're also, if you think about, they do things by the book and hierarchy. I think it's more military style things. That's why I think maybe people don't stick their neck out, whistleblowers and that kind of stuff. That's why I think it's not happening. But Tulsi Gabbard, I can see her in jail in the future in a bad way. Or she might fall out of a window accidentally, kind of thing. If somebody doesn't like what she's doing. And they can send those um, poisonous kind of, what did they say? Navalny got, what's a frog poison dart? That poisonous frog poison that he got shot with. And that's what technically killed him. I know those aren't the right words. You guys are great when I can't find the right words. This is so weird. This was on the deck earlier. It was on the bottom and I noticed it and it just popped and it flipped over. And I've been shuffling. So there's the beginning. Okay. They're not going to nothing's going to happen right now with that. Trump and Gabbard are just protecting, they're being protected and we're not going to find that out anytime soon. It will happen. But it's not going to be from the people inside. Not be one or two whistleblowers, but it's going to be, I think, some top people falling. And then that kind of gets rid of other people. That's my theory anyway. Tariff money. Is that, buddy, you're going to see that. Trump deciding it's 15% all over now. Again, I don't think we're going to see any of that money. No, it's not there. It went into some probably general fund and it's being diverted here and there and everywhere. And he took, what was it, $10 million from somewhere and he just decided to, anyway. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. Somebody needs their money. It's not going anywhere. I'll just pull some cards. The Magician, they're controlling it. Four of Wands, and they're happy that they have it. They do not want to lose it. The real issue is being strong and not letting it um, be lost. The tariffs. It's a strong man kind of idea. How we got here is the Hermit is trying to hide it and doing things in the dark. The near future is Queen of Wands. How others see them is like stealing, cheating. What we don't know yet is the Star. Okay, that's wonderful. Have faith. Everything is going to work out. It doesn't mean we're going to actually get the money, but the sun will shine, even though that's the moon, the star, the light of Christ. And then action to take or avoid is, I don't think we get lost in the confusion of it because it's very confusing. It's hard to know which way is up. But they're also doing that to us, the administration and all the powers that be and the media. It's like you're getting things thrown at you all the time. And the final outcome is justice. I can't make this up. Justice will prevail. but it doesn't mean it's a money. Oh, Ten of Pentacles. The divine blessing in this is, you know what? Ten of Pentacles. There's money for the family. I don't know if we're going to get a check, but I think that money is going to come back, actually. I don't feel like it right now, but I do think that's going to come back. That's interesting because I thought it was in some Saudi Arabian bank or some cryptocurrency guy's bank account or in an overseas account that has no taxes or something. His goal, Trump's goal, the Orange Embassy's goal, is to make as much money as he can and to grift and to create many banners and buildings and plaster his name all over the country. And it's going to be like Stalin after he died, and all those things are going to get they're going to take down those sculptures. They're going to take down those banners. And I think there's going to be a big burning in the square, as you say, of his face, an effigy. Okay. Nancy Guthrie. Let's check in with Nancy Guthrie. Before I start with Nancy, somebody asked me about that painting in the back, that my pond painting that I did years ago is part of my Oracle cards deck. No, I wasn't thinking about it, but I don't know. Maybe I could do that. Maybe that'll be a piece of it. I don't know. But thank you very much. I'm working on my own deck. I've only got one painting done so far, and I think I have to do like 64. Small amount. um, and so Nancy Guthrie, and when I meditated on her just now with my Labradorite, I felt like I saw her face and I feel like she's talking to me, and that has not happened before. I don't feel like I feel like her energy, I can just sense where she is or what's going on inside of. But this is the first time I saw her face. She's looking at me and she's trying to get my attention, not get my attention, but just interact with me. And I saw her as a white ball, a white energy about her, not angelic per se, but she's sort of, because before I saw her out, I think they got rid of her somewhere between Tucson and New Mexico, someone that way. And and now there are people saying, oh, they saw her in Mexico with those guys in Mexico. But this feels different. It's a funny thing because I feel like she's gone. I feel like she's gone. And this whole thing was bungled, and they didn't expect the giant press, the media attraction or attention. But I honestly, in the past, I know you guys don't like, some of you find this offensive, but the first time let me just pull some cards. Let's see what happens. The first time I pulled cards, I got the Lover's card, and that's always my Trump MAGA relationship. They love him, you know. And so that's always the card that I pulled for their relationship. And I got that card. And I wondered if it was making a point about Savannah, about that. And at first I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's for entertainment purposes only, but that's the feeling I got. Then I think what happened is because of this attention, things have shifted for the people that it did this, and they're having to retreat. Although TMZ said they got another email or message saying give them $6 million in crypto or whatever. But the people that are doing this are really good with technology to evade. I know the FBI and the CIA. So Nancy is the Three of Wands. They're still the people are waiting to find the answer. They've got partners, and they haven't let the FBI take it over completely. I'm sorry, this is the Seven of Cups. And this is the energies around this confusion. What do we do? Where is it? I don't know. It's very cloudy. This is the real issue is there's a dreaminess, a offer, and we can't see it. It's like we have so many ideas and we don't know what's real. And then hopes and fears is divine blessing in this, or the hopes and fears is that the divinity that she will be found. And I hope I'm wrong that she's not gone. How we got here, it was a timing thing. I think I don't want to say it's karmic, but there was some thing that was planned, that these people had planned it for a while. And there's multiple, and I think there's a woman or two involved. The near future is the Four of Wands, which is a wedding, a celebration. Maybe they're going to come up. They have a new evidence. Maybe there's going to be something. Or the four. The four is really important. It's the number 4. In the past video, I saw SpaghettiOs were very important, and I almost sent a tip into FBI. I know about SpaghettiOs, but the thing I was going to talk about was a piece of tape, like white tape that you'd wrap around wrists. Sports people wear, football players and stuff. It's like medical tape, I guess, grade. I saw it being ripped off something really fast. And I don't know if it was over some numbers. I almost wonder if it was a license plate or something where they couldn't be detected in some digital way somewhere. Like, because you know how you get a parking tickets, the police go by and they stroll by, or the patrol officers, and they scan license plates. It felt like they were just trying to cover that up. They didn't want their license plate scanned. That was the feeling I get. It was a piece of tape over something, and then they took it off, and then so they couldn't be found some way, something like that. And so I didn't send that in. But that was the 2 things I got last time. Anyway, how others see they're seeing that all this effort is going into this, and they feel like it's going to happen. It feels like there's a lot of effort gone into it. What we don't know yet is a family with money and security and together. There will be an ending. I saw this before. There will be justice. Action to take or avoid is to not to get lost in the sadness and, well, nothing's happening, and I see media sometimes, the final outcome is, the thief and being betrayed and stealing. So the outcome is going to be found. The guys and the women, whoever it is, are going to be found out. The divine blessing in this is there will be success. There will be ultimate success in this. And I got the 4. So we got the 6 of Wands and the 4 of Wands. There's always inspiration. I think these are the tips too. I think these are the tips that people are bringing together. But this is also family. Um, and I don't feel like it's the family. I know some people do. I don't feel it. But I didn't get the Lovers card. So there you go, guys. Could be not related to that at all. I started to mention the white light around Nancy. I felt like she was talking to me or interacting with me, but she's got a white sheet or a white bubble or it's funny. There's something about her that feels very vital in this and very energetic coming to me. And I wanted to just investigate. What does that mean? What are you trying to tell me, Nancy? It's hidden. It's hidden, whatever this is. It's hidden, and they didn't get their way. And but she's fine. She's fine. She's good. She's just, yeah, not a good ending, but eventually there will be justice. They're going to find him. I do feel like that very strongly. They're going to find him. Miss Aileen Cannon, the Judge Aileen Cannon, who is licking, whose boots all the time and got her hand in his pants and stroking stuff, that's how that goes. For entertainment purposes only. Will it get released? Those Jack Smiths, she said it's barred permanently. Although in the past it's public knowledge, right? But in her statement, she was very aggressive, and she said this could ruin Trump and other people's reputations. Okay, good, because he stole documents and he tried to upturn an election and say it wasn't real. So will that ever get released? Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. There's too many people protecting him and it. She's just one of many. Lovers. Oh, remember I was telling you? Lovers is MAGA? And yeah, this is the first card. Guess what? It's his cult. Yep, it's not going anywhere. Sorry, I love me some Jack Smith. He's amazing. I see him testifying in the future with a lot of documents and a lot of other people, but I don't feel it's still not going to get the traction or the attention that many people want. I think by then, who will be gone, and they'll think, oh, it's a little bit too late or whatever, a little too late. Yeah. But I do see that he will not be special counsel anymore, but there will be in the future. He's really going to be used in very pivotal ways in the future. And then he's going to like drop out. He's just going to go, I need to just, but he loves his country. He loves his country a lot. Okay. CUSMA, will it be renewed? That says Canada, US, Mexico agreement or alliance, or will it be renewed? And then Carney is working with the EU to create a new trade negotiation, and he's gone all over the world. So CUSMA. And Trump was the one who did it in 2017, and he said it was a great agreement. It was wonderful. It was perfect. It was so much better than anything that's ever been in world history before, of course. But now it's bad. It's horrible. They've taken us all our money, and it's terrible, and they should be all ashamed of themselves or whatever. Like he said about the Supreme Court, which was horrible. And I love what Neil Gorsuch said. He's like, this is a side note. His quote is dissent about the tariff. He's like, this is very summarizing. He was referring to the liberal judges, and he said when they get complaints that when Biden was in office about student loan stuff and different things, when these executive orders, whoever puts them through, they complain when they allow them with like, yay, see, we shouldn't allow these executive orders. But when Biden was doing it, he was just saying we need to work through Congress. That was the ultimate baseline. Congress makes the laws. Congress has the purse. Congress tells where to spend the money, supposedly, in real world, in constitutionally. So I think that's really good because it is. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Okay, CUSMA. Will it be renewed? I feel there's going to be a fight about it. Not like, I think there's going to be a big display of noise and loudness, and they're taking advantage of us, and they're stealing money, and they're sending fentanyl, and they're doing all these things, and they don't protect anything, and they're letting these cartels. But I think in these recent days and weeks, with the Mexican cartel and Venezuela and all these Central South American situations, I think that's going to be part. I know it's not Mexico, but there's part of that. All of that situation is going to influence how this is moving forward. And plus what he says about Canada. And I think Carney or whoever's negotiating is going to be really more strong to a point because you need the trade, but he's really working around the world. CUSMA. I don't know, maybe somebody's going to walk away. I don't see, I'm looking at this, I feel like it's not going to be decided right away. I feel like there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of bluster, a lot of positioning, stances. And then it'll be poof, it'll be decided. Calmer heads will prevail. CUSMA. Two of arrows, yeah. I think there's going to be people sticking their, getting stuck because they need to take a stand. And then there'll be somebody with an idea, and then it'll decide right away and fast, fast, fast. Yeah, in celebration. So I think it will go in some way, and it'll be tolerable. I think US will probably get out ahead, of course, be the one that, but Canada is actually, there'll be some, okay, so what I see is Canada having certain, and I'm seeing an agreement in general terms, but I feel like there's certain things that Canada is going to negotiate. They may seem small or not, large production of different products or whatever, or different industries or like aluminum or dairy or whatever. But there's certain things that Canada's going to fight for, and they're actually going to be really good and important. It's going to be like, these are the non-negotiables. We have to have these. And I feel like they're going to fight for those. And I don't know what that is, if that's a tariff number or a certain industry that won't get blocked, or bridges, stupid stuff. I guess Canada paid for that bridge, and the US is supposed to pay back over time as people, and then they'll share they're going to share the profits as, as Canada gets paid back. they'll get half the proceeds back, and then they'll share after that because Canada's paper. So he says it's one-sided, and we put the bridge. It's a lie. They didn't do that. Anyway, okay. Carney and EU. Carney's traveling all over the world. I feel like some of his trade stuff is a little hopeful. I know China is working out decently with the electric cars and the canola, but I don't. It's like he's trying to do a lot of. See, he's got this big, or Canada has this big neighbor with all this money, right? And that's easy. It's right here. Let's trade, and it's great. But now he's got to put all these little smaller countries together in some sort of trade package tapestry with all these different. So it's a little bit harder, or a lot harder. And I think there's so many political and give and take diplomatic things that have to happen. But he talks the way accounting people, finance people talks, because that's what his education is in. But I do feel he's going to patchwork it. There will be a patchwork. And actually, I feel like it's going to grow. And some of these are going to be very long sustaining pacts, trade agreements. I picture like Asia somewhere, not just China, but other Asian countries, India, or wherever. I want to say Guam, but that's part of the US, so I don't know. But he's going to make it happen. And I think many of those are going to be really good for Canada long term, something you can count on, something dependable. Not as vast, but good for the long term. Really good partnerships will be made in this period of time. So he's doing that. And with the EU, they just said they're waiting to have their meeting about global trade because of the 15% tariff from the States, and they don't know. That's predictable. What do we know? Tomorrow it could change because the orange imbecile could wake up in a bad mood or whatever. And so they're going to wait to have their meetings about it, what they're going to do. I think the 15% tariffs, I don't know how he can get by with that. I think the 10 he said was doable. But they're going to keep taking him back and back to court. Is he going to do the 10%? I mean, the 15%, is that across the board? No, it's not going to work out. The Knight of Arrows. I think the Republican Congress or Senate is really going, okay, they're not saying it to our faces, but I think they're saying, come on, Mr. President, let's be done. Our people can't use this. They're closing down all these industries and warehouses because they can't afford these tariffs, and it's killing our people. So I think they're finally, maybe they're going to come around and they're going to see the light, as they say. But Mark Carney, somebody asked me about his personality. He's a good person. I think he is. I know he's from Edmonton. He's not far from where my husband grew up in there. He's a little bit younger than my husband, but he seems like a good guy. I know he called the women when they won the curling championship, the Olympic. And the Canadians lost the men and the women hockey game. So bad. And then, who's invited them, the United States hockey team, to the State of the Union address, which makes it political. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And the women hockey team, I guess they've been invited to the White House, but they couldn't go because of scheduling conflicts. I hope they say no. I just don't want them to go. I feel like that's wrong. That's a bad look. But Cash Patel was there. I don't know. These people just want to make it like they got their in. They're part of the party crowd. Everybody, not the team, but I don't know. My husband's the thing about Keith and Brady Tkachuk. Their dad, Keith Tkachuk. This is a hockey moment. Keith Tkachuk played for the Coyotes here in Arizona for many years. Good guy, and he has 3 boys, I think, and Brady and Matthew. And I don't. Matthew plays for Florida Panthers. I don't know where Brady plays for, but Matthew Kachuk, people love him or hate him. And guess who hates him in this house because he doesn't play nice. He's not a good guy. But his dad was great. But he was they were both on the Olympic team. So it's a funny thing. And he was on the Panthers they went to the final game of the Stanley Cup Finals, Edmonton Oilers versus the Florida Panthers last couple of years. So that wasn't, and they've lost in the seventh game both times, I think it was. Yeah. So there's a lot of hard feelings with that. So this was a hard loss, but I don't know. Anyway, side note, Carney is a good guy. And we have a lot of friends that are in the Western prairies that are are pretty conservative. In fact, some of them want to get out of Canada, which not really close friends would do that, but they talk about it. I'm like, really? It's a Trump influence. Trump has a massive influence up there. Danielle Smith, the provincial premier, um, it's the same idea. Its viewpoint is very similar, so it's kind of like it is here. It's very strange how it's morphed up there. But Mark Carney, I think, is level-headed. I like him. I do feel like he's in a speech at the um United Nations, was it? Or NATO, no, but you guys know what I mean. His speech was amazing. And it was amazing. But he is a good advocate for Canada. It's just not very flashy. And so I think people want somebody who, and he did stand strong when the tariff thing came on, which is good. But people wonder about Polyev, if he's more noisy and flashy and he'll get people to vote for him. I don't see any of that happening. I think Mark Carney's going to be in for a while, unless he decides to leave. I feel like he's doing his damnedest to maintain Canada's autonomy, sovereignty, um, strength, security, defense, economic strength, all that. So I don't feel like it's an issue. I do feel like people, I think, want him to be different, but I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody can be it all for everybody, right? But I feel like he's going to be okay, and people appreciate his efforts. But yeah, this year, I think I saw that before for the year, Canada's economy's having a hard time. It is. But it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's just like patchwork, you know. Uh, Mexican Cartel, where they still have the FIFA games there. Guadalajara. Yes, they will. They're just going to put up a wall of security all the way around. I don't know how they're going to do that. Because I know there's probably hotels and things, but the security is going to be insane. Unless something new happens in this moment, because free will, there's 1,000 paths we can take any day or night, and we all choose our path. And sometimes it affects other people, obviously, and those paths can change, or those choices. Free will makes everything different. But the timeline right now is I feel like they're still going to try and do it. Um, and the Mexican army took him out, but with U.S. intel, I think. And so I think there's going to be a lot of small towns, small people, small areas that they're going to destroy the cartel because they avoid hurting mostly tourists and stuff because they've had this unspoken agreement with the government and everything just to stay away, do your drug thing out of sight, out of mind, or whatever kind of thing. It's not exactly like that, but now they're like, screw it, you guys took our guy out, then we're gonna take all your stuff out. Um, but it's the right direction. It's painful, but it's the right direction for the country, and they have to stand by that and do what they have to do to eliminate as best they can these cartels who are entrenched and rooted and connected in all ways in all these different areas of the country. But FIFA won't. I think the soccer World Cup will continue. It's too important for the economy, and they're just going to do their best to. And they're going to have like special rules. People can't leave at certain hour. You know, they'll have curfews, so it'll be protected for the most part. I'm going to just really look into Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor. Okay, I did Andrew's future once already, but sometimes my photo booth does not record and I try emptying everything out. So I'll redo my spread here. But what I got is that he is going to end up leaving. I saw this before. I think they're going to give him an out because he's a blue blood, even though he's actually committed crimes. they're gonna be like Napoleon or send him an exile. Like you can go to prison, we can put you on trial, or you can take a plea and you could go in exile and go live overseas, and maybe his brother will give him a stipend or he'll get money or he has money, but he's definitely going to go away. And the Page of Wands is him looking, and there's going to be information coming that is, well, it already is very damning, especially that, like that Pete Mendelsohn, who he is actually going to go to jail. I think he is going to be arrested. Well, he is, but he's going to go on trial and it'll be very public, and they're going to try and mitigate it or make it less visible because of his high ranking, but he's going to be, they're going to show who's boss because they're going to say the law is the law. So the hopes and fears are it's going to be real. I'm going to make something. Actually, Andrew thinks he's going to hide. I feel like he's going to hide around this, even though he can't. And then the real issue is his, see, I'm looking at this. I feel the real issue is his lack of um, self awareness and the money and the money and the more money. And this is that one. I don't feel like they have the Page of Pentacles, him weaving a web. How we got here is the weaving of the web of the money, giving away source information, very important information about the country to maybe Russia, Putin. And Queen of Pentacles is the near future. And I feel like this is Queen Camilla. I do feel like she's going to really be part of this conversation, maybe not in public, but with Charles. They're going to make a really big decision and she's going to be part of that. And then I also feel the near future, the justice, this is going to be, it is going to be ending. I also see the scales, like they're weighing all the different possibilities with him and how others see him as just trying to hold on to money and not, it feels like he's on the spectrum. I don't know. And, or maybe he's just spoiled. I feel like he's always been just not aware of how he is. What we don't know yet is some serious grief. Um, the girls, his Beatrice and Eugenie, Sarah, I think will go be with him, and she's going to get in big trouble, big trouble. Action to take or avoid, I think, is this to um, accept the responsibility. But I think this is also related to the world seeing it. Action to take is laws are laws. There's a reason for laws. If we don't have laws, it's just anarchy and kill or be killed. Action to take is actually follow the law. And the final outcome is Knight of Wands. And this is actually him maybe moving forward and having an idea to go. It's also being hidden, and he's already, I think he's already talking to people on all his options. Some of these I don't feel like I need to pick. Ace of Arrows is that, things are moving really quickly. And then the Empress is the end. I feel like the divine blessing in this is that the monarchy is gonna like push through this, and they're sort of part of the fabric of the United Kingdom, obviously, and because of that, it's going to maintain the structure, and that's the blessing. They're very blessed, even though they've conquered for the centuries other civilizations and destroyed them and colonized, but there's something about the feeling of motherhood with the country kind of thing, which um, I don't want to say gives him a benefit of the doubt, but it kind of, like his mother, Elizabeth, she spoiled him and she gave him everything he wanted. So I know that's been part of the problem. But he will go. The very least will be, but he will get, justice will be served. There's going to be a plea agreement where I think if he leaves and Sarah follows him or whatever, they're all going to be a focus of the Justice Department or the justice system there. And Yeah, I just think the outcome. He just doesn't understand how he is or what people think of him. And there's another woman, and there's another. So King of Cups, that's the King Charles, and he's going to work with the Parliament or the people in the justice system. I feel like King Charles and all of his staff and the advisors, they have a plethora of ideas what they're going to do about this. And then they have the government, and I feel like there's going to be a big conversation, a big meeting, and that will determine the next move. I know they're going to say we let the justice system take its course, but there's going to be some conversation about the monarchy, and it's something we don't even know about that they're trying to protect. Something very secret, very secret. And and I don't know if it's something that Andrew has said to people that they're worried about getting out. I mean, it's already in the Epstein files, that, but there's something else beyond that, that they may be putting him on trial or putting it out in the public may put people at risk, or people put situations at risk, or on the low end, put awareness into areas that we want to keep secret. That could be it too. Anyway, all right. Before I say sign off, I just want to share, side note, I finished my taxes. Every year for the last 10 years, I've had to pay a lot, thousands of dollars. This year, for the first time, because of the way my life is changed and how my income in different ways, I am not having to pay, and I'm actually getting money back. I can't tell you how exciting it is for me, and I dread it every year. I even paid money ahead, just estimated taxes. I'm getting that back. It's just, I'm, I, it's like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. I've already sent it in. I'm so excited. I still have to pay Arizona, but that's, say love you. Anyway, all right, you guys. Hope you have, I wish you blessings. I wish you an abundant tax refund as you do your taxes. I know it's a hassle. I know but at least I always used to flip it around and say, at least I have money that I'm paying taxes on, because some people don't even have the money to pay taxes, right? That's what I'm kind of converted or reframe it to do that. So have a good day. Wish you well.